Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
All right, and to not waste too much of your time, let's dive right in. First of all, Ripple locks 800 million XRP in escrow that could flood exchanges. This is a very important article because I was having a little talk over on Twitter and I noticed every single month 1 billion XRP gets unlocked. You guys all know it, you guys all dread it, we all talk about it. However, 800 million gets put back in, and there's two deductions or two conclusions to draw from that. One, the SEC has already kind of lost, and two, whenever you see this 1 billion getting unlocked, it's a contract that was set a couple of years ago. Ripple can't stop it. But also, it does not mean that Ripple is going to sell a billion, nor that the pressure is even there. Why? It goes like this. There was 56, 65, whatever, 60-ish billion XRP in Ripple's control in 2017. They decided to not always have this looming pressure of Ripple being able to just open the floodgates and sell everything onto exchanges, so then they locked it up, unlocking 1 billion XRP every single month, so that they at least have the power to do something if they wanted to, but kind of have the underlying idea of, we'll unlock a billion, but we'll use whatever we want to use and put the rest back in. And as it currently stands, guys, the majority of XRP every single time gets put back into escrow for another 5 years, just locked up for a couple years again, so that over the next couple of years, potentially a decade or so, more and more XRP is going to keep getting unlocked and Ripple's going to get some. At the end of the day, they only sell a portion of that, and even then we can follow exactly how much they sell because they're pretty open about everything, about what to do with the money, what this, what that, what this, what that. So I would say it's not necessarily a bad thing. And the second part comes about why Ripple has already won, kinda. Here is the exact tweet that I posted. 1 billion XRP got released yesterday. If the SEC was so certain about their case, they would have requested the judge to make them stop selling for now. Because again, they have 200 million XRP to their disposal. They didn't, nor will they. This lawsuit is about the past XRP, not the present. We've already won. And so a couple of questions here were about, okay, so what does that mean for people who were transacting XRP before? Because the whole issue is not about the future XRP, but about the past. Well, I personally don't think that you as an individual and I as an individual will ever have any trouble with the money that we have because of the past or so. If Ripple sold unregistered securities, I think that leads up to a fine, because if it currently is not an unregistered security anymore, there's no real protocol to that because we don't know these technologies too well, where they are sort of centralized at first and become decentralized. It's a newer concept, and again, it does not abide by the same rules as the Howey test from before because it just does not work in the same fashion at all. Then again, we can also discuss about whether or not the SEC is alleging that the oranges are comparable with XRP itself, meaning that XRP itself is the security, or that the actual sale of these XRP was the security, because John Deaton says they are alleging the first, which again makes things a lot more strange and abstract and once more like losing-ish biased, I would say. There's been a couple of little videos about Gary Gensler kind of already preparing for defeat, and here is one of those videos.
To litigate. This agency has to be willing to go into court and, take some losses from time to time. But go into court.
Right.
I think all of those things, but it's trying to use high-profile cases to bring folks back on the right side of the line.
So what he's saying, and I'll open my next video with this one again. I'm going to do that. Why? It's actually one of the most important videos we've seen from Gary Gensler thus far, because we were all confused. Why go through litigation? Why not through the rulemaking process of getting things done in the crypto space? And they're basically saying, we just want a lot of these companies to come back on the right side. We didn't really know how to communicate with them properly, so we allege something. We're going to lose a couple, but at least we basically undermine the fundamentals set by a judge. Because once more, guys, remember, the SEC is not only in the business of just suing and only making rules through some, I guess, other means. Who cares about what exactly they're for? They're also there for the rulemaking process through litigation. Because again, Whatever is concluded in the lawsuit, the SEC cannot conclude themselves. The SEC cannot say, oh, XRP is security, boom, bam, bam. No, another, I guess, authority has to say, yes, that's the truth. The SEC can allege, the SEC can kind of like in Dutch is opper, kind of bring up a certain point, but they cannot make rules themselves. They have to bring those up and let those be built, so to speak. They overrule some stuff, but yet again, we've seen they basically overrule through lawsuits and through, I guess, bringing things up that are wrong, or you guys understand what I mean with that. Point being, him admitting that they will lose from now and then just shows to me that indeed they're not as bad as we sometimes put them out as. I guess they just have a really crooked approach of things, and there are most likely a lot of bad actors inside this authority, but it could be that the overall idea of Soon Ripple was better intended. And that's maybe why it's so freaking stupid. Whenever we look at the lawsuit, we're like, why in the world would you start this? And maybe it's honestly so that they're like, let's try this, why not? If XRP turns out to not be security, then the judge will find it out. And all the guys were like, I'm down, I'm game. Because everybody's like, but XRP isn't a security. And they're like, we can at least try. What do we have to lose? We're the SEC anyway. And they're like, yeah, that's right. And then all of a sudden they were like, well, it's easier for the judge to figure it out than for us to figure it out, right? They were like, yeah, yeah, that's true, yeah. And that's how it came out, because they knew they would kind of lose, my thoughts, right? But they still tried it anyway, because why not? You have to make your rules in some way, shape, or form anyway. Maybe. So 120 million XP was moved as the Ripple lawsuit expert discovery wraps up. If you're seeing XP being moved, generally speaking, you can't deduce exactly what it is for or what it means. If it's from an exchange to an exchange, it means nothing. If it's from an unknown wallet to an exchange, that generally speaking is extra selling pressure, which is bad. If it's Jet McCallum moving, it's most likely a sale. And if it's from an exchange to an unknown wallet, usually that's off-ramping from basically taking your taking your crypto off of the exchange, meaning you're less likely to sell it. Less sell pressure is, generally speaking, positive. Again, these are just general conclusions. It's not factual because every single scenario is different. Then, this is something we covered a couple of times before already, but it's actually just such a huge deal, I have to bring it up again. Bright days ahead. Tranglo enables XRP's ODL services across 25 payment corridors. Remember what I told you guys. XRP's usage is going to be huge. Usage going to be huge. Just huge. For right now, the majority of price action, however, will rely on the lawsuit. Once it's finished, all these things, all these underlying adoption sprees or whatnot, they'll start to count. Right now, though, people are only focused on, is it a security, is it not a security? Because obviously that's the bigger deal for the price. And so the majority of these announcements are overlooked because XRP ecosystem, the XP Ledger ecosystem, is expanding massively. They're doing a lot. And I honestly think once they get the lawsuit confirmation, so many other parties will be interested in working with them, which right now are like, it might be a security. That is going to go really, really quickly. And that's, again, the second big boost. There's actually a couple of different boosts. One is the XRP being not a security, basically, being the first properly regulated crypto in the US, because Bitcoin and ETH are still kind of big. Two is the XRP relist movement. That could be huge. Coinbase and all these exchanges putting it back on could be a huge wave of excitement. And then three, the actual usage for XRP, which has been undermined basically for a very long time, can actually start popping off at that point. Not necessarily in terms of actual volume or usage, but in people realizing how capable and how good the crypto actually is. Again, this is not financial or legal advice, this is just my opinion and my thoughts about what's going to happen. An attorney says that Ripple's defense will receive a massive boost if the notes are produced. We talked about this before. If we're talking about the lawsuit, guys, we really want as much as possible from the SEC side. We honestly just want them to produce some stuff so we have some basis to form, basically. And we talked about this before. So the next couple of weeks, basically, can be very huge, mostly for Ripple's side, mostly for XP holders, because, well, depending on what comes out and what comes out of these nodes and what decisions are made, which, again, come really soon here, yeah, that could be really huge. That could be really huge. Then again, we also have to remember that a settlement can be happening any one of these days. So I'm a big XRP holder, you guys already know that, but I'm definitely buying a huge sum of XRP in the near future here. As I sometimes think, what if March is the only month that can accumulate at these cheap prices? I should be hoarding a freaking ton of it. I'm not at a billion XRP yet, but I'm trying to get there, right? So I have to kind of stack up a little bit and put my left foot further, just to take a couple of big steps and get there.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.